Oh, I just wanted to stop in and say good morning to everybody. Hey, Mark, 2 days in a row, you and me.
You doing?
Good. How are you?
The video. Here, take that
Mark,
off. Take that off. There you are.
Yeah, there we are.
Cute.
Morning. Good morning.
Chris, we have representatives from both districts, so be sure to introduce yourself.
okay. Yeah, so my name's Chris Foisey. I'm the district president of the Johnny Appleseed District. And I just wanted to drop in this morning and say good morning to everybody. And thank you for taking advantage of our LeadAc program this year. This program marks now a full year of Johnny Appleseed District virtual programs. We have not been able to be together in person now for a full year of programming. And it's super painful. And I wish like crazy that we were all together in Columbus this morning and getting to talk together and be there in person and sing tags and sing an opening song together like we normally do. But it's coming. And, I do firmly believe that we will all be back together again here this year. Right now we're projecting that that's going to be in the fall. And we do believe we'll have a fall convention, but and that's how we're planning and going forward. But meanwhile, we're working on events that you can all participate in virtually, and you can take back to your chapters and ask them to participate as well, and still keep barbershop alive in your singing communities and in your chapters. If you guys have any ideas or thoughts about a program or anything we need to do a little differently or anything we can do to help you as leaders, please jump on the line, give me a call, give me an email, and let's make it happen. Does anyone have any questions for me this morning?
Sure. I'm brand new to marketing. I'm Dave Motter of the Lafayette Tippecanoes, and I'm all gung-ho, so the guys decided I could take this position here. I see Michele seems to know everybody else here, and so I guess you've been meeting a lot in the past. I'm from the Cardinal District, and also I wanted to thank you for letting us in with no fee. That is awesome.
Yeah, and you're very welcome. This is something the district wanted to do for its membership. Without running programs, we don't have a lot of places to spend money. So we wanted to pull this together, and we've got some great volunteer teachers, and we hope you get a lot out of today's program. We also hope you join us for the 1 o'clock class, which has a restart focus, getting guys back into barbershop after this much time away. And we hope you'll join us this afternoon too. We think it should be a valuable class for you. All right, guys.
Thanks.
Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Well, so at least trickling in who's trickled in. And now that the boss is gone, no, I'm kidding. So let me introduce myself. I know a few of you. You heard me tell Chris I have a horrible migraine. Like, I'm not kidding when I tell you it hurts to blink. But we're going to get through this because that's what we do. But we might not have 3 hours ahead of us. we might make it a little shorter. Just saying. And as soon as my son wakes up, he can refill my coffee cup, and I think the caffeine will help. But anyway, so I'm Michele Neese. For those of you who don't know me, you might see my name around. You've probably gotten an email from me here and there. I have been a member of the Barbershop Harmony Society for 5.5 years now, when I started working at Harmony Hall as Marty Munson's executive assistant. So sat right outside his door, did everything with him side by side. Because of my position, I was allowed to travel around the country and attend board meetings and HOD meetings. And lo and behold, I wound up at the Johnny Appleseed District one day, and I never left emotionally. Like, they adopted me, I adopted them. I became a member of the district. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I now sit on the board. I'm in a director of marketing position. I'm a part of the 21 Cleveland committee, and we need volunteers. Oh my goodness, we need volunteers. We'll get to that later. And have just, this is my 4th LeadAc out of 5 years. And I'm just super, maybe it's my 5th, I don't even know at this point. I'm just super happy to be here with you guys. I love the relationship that Johnny Appleseed District and the Cardinal District has together as well. I hop up there a lot because it's a quick drive from Nashville. So like I said, just really happy to be here to talk about some ideas, to brainstorm a little, to go over some basic things. I've put together a content calendar spreadsheet for you guys to use with telling your story. Let's see, more people trying to get in. If you would take a moment and in the chat, type out your full name and your district, because that'll help me with attendance down the road. And while you're doing that, I'm going to turn off my camera and go fill coffee. I'll be right back.
Nashville. My name is Lowell Thomas. I'm representing the Cambridge, Ohio chapter. I just renewed my membership last month, which was due, and starting my 48th year in the society. I've had a lot of great singing, and I'm in a quartet that we registered back in, actually, we started in 1988, but didn't register for whatever reason until 91, but we're still going on. We had changes in that, in the baritone and lead section, but we're still singing and enjoying quartet. I've retired Air Force, so I was able to join the Aloha chapter in Hawaii for 3 years. And also I'm a charter member of the Berlin, Germany chapter. My wife is German, by the way, and naturalized citizen though. And she's also a sweet Adeline. I had uncles that were past president of our local chapter in Cambridge, and they are since passed on. In fact, I just lost a cousin yesterday. And but anyway, I thoroughly enjoy the barbershop music style, and God has given me the gift of singing. So I try to use it every chance I get. And we really enjoy singing to others with Singing Valentines. We are a smaller chapter, but we still try to keep busy. And we were fortunate to distance and do a Christmas community concert. And it went really well. And we had 3 quartets besides the chorus that sang for us and did a great job. The name of my quartet is Popular Demand. So if we sang for you before, we're back by popular demand. I enjoy Johnny Appleseed District. In fact, when I started in high school, actually. And I don't know why I didn't think of joining the Thorn chapter while I was in the Air Force for 20 years. But like I said, I was able to be with Berlin and Hawaii. And also, whoop, I'm off. No, I'm on. Okay. I guess enough about me, though. I enjoy this district, and I think we're one of the best in our society. And I'm looking forward to a new year. Hoping to get back to singing, really, everybody.
I love that. For those that just hopped in, if you would give me your name in the chat, I'll take attendance off of that. And while I ran out and got coffee, it sounded like you guys were doing some introductions. So anybody else want to tell us a little bit about yourself? I will also not mute everybody. If you find that you have some background noise, I'm going to ask you to self-monitor. But then this way, if you have something you just want to jump in and talk about, somebody.
By the way, I'm also a dual member of the Zanesville chapter in Zanesville, Ohio. It's the larger chorus.
Anne McAlexander is trying to call me. I don't know why. Okay, so let's try to get a little bit started here. Hang on a second. This is fun, isn't it? Anne? I don't know what she's doing. That's really disturbing. Anyway, talk amongst yourselves, everyone. Because I keep hearing the phone ringing in my ears. Anyway, that was distracting. So I have a few polls I'm going to run you guys through. Let's get Dennis in. So on your screen, a poll will pop up. It's anonymous. Let's see what happens here. Okay, first one is up. I'll keep it up there about 30 seconds. All right. So we're at about 50-50 here. 47 to 53. So interesting. Okay. You guys see the sharing of the results? Okay. So that's the first one. That helps me understand what we're looking at here. Okay. Guys, chat amongst yourselves a second. Let me see if I can get this link to Anne. She's trying to get in.
Well, I would like to introduce myself. I'm sort of inspired by Lowell's long relationship with barbershop singing. I am relatively new to barbershop singing. I retired from my job as a pastor, knowing that I wanted to do something musical in retirement.
Not on video anyway. I don't know why, but my video is just not showing up, so it doesn't matter. They aren't going to see me anyhow.
Hey, Mike McCarthy. So I looked up singing in Dayton, which is where we were moving to in retirement, and discovered the barbershop society here, called at the time Miami Valley Music Men, although we are changing our name now that we to establish the fact that women are welcome in our chapter, although one woman has been singing tenor in our chapter for quite a number of years before I arrived. But I've been part of the chapter for 6 years, and it's been immensely fulfilling. I've made some wonderful friends, sung a little bit in 2 quartets, and have enjoyed the friendship. And I was made membership chair or elected to be membership chair. And I've been doing that for 2 or 3 years, and I've seen my job basically to be the kind of forward-looking welcome to people who come through the door, and to contact them afterwards to encourage them to continue to try barber shopping. And this is, in fact, my first experience with something at the at this level of communication. So I'm happy to be here.
Sure. I apologize for the distractions. I don't know what's going on. Okay.
Michelle, if I can jump in for a minute, I'm on. Is the secretary session here? Am I in the right place for that?
Marketing session. I don't
Yeah, that's
have
what I thought.
together.
I need to get into the secretary session, please. The link didn't work.
I don't have those links. So you'll have to contact Jeff Ulrich.
I have no phone numbers. I don't know Jeff. I'm from out of district, so I need some.
Okay. Hang on a second.
Thank you.
Let me see.
Hello, Ann.
Hi,
It's
Kevin.
Yeah,
Hi, Kevin. How are you?
good. In Florida.
Ah, nice, nice. My link didn't work, unfortunately. The many Zoom calls I attend every week, and the one I really needed to get into, the link did not work.
And check the chat. There's a link there that's where I came from, at least.
So
And
this isn't the secretary's track. This is marketing.
There was like a list of all of them, I think.
is that the secretary one?
That takes you to a page with all of the links.
Okay,
Oh, it
great.
could be on the website. It's good to see you, Ann.
Thanks. You too. Great. I see the one with all. Try. Thank you. Sorry to barge into your meeting, but getting a hold of Michelle was the only way I knew to reach someone.
I'm here for everyone. All right. Well, this has been a fun start. So nobody's waiting to come in. Okay. I'm going to put up another poll here. So real quick, this is a membership / marketing track. I focus 98% of it on marketing because all of that drives membership. Everything we do, every story we tell, every flyer we make, every event we have that we have to share, all ultimately leads to membership retention, because we're telling our stories and we're highlighting those that are on the risers next to us or standing in front of us and leading us. It leads to membership acquisition because we pull in from the community and all those types of things. So I take it from a heavy marketing because that ultimately leads to, like I said, retention and acquisition. So my next poll question here, and you can choose all that apply, is about your chapter, your chorus, your chapter, and your social media presence. Okay, we have 18. So 17 of the 20, and I guess I'm one of those 20, has Facebook. I'm fascinated by the 3 who have none. Those of you that have other, what is your other?
I put down other. I like to think that our YouTube channel is kind of a social media platform based on the way that we use it. Currently, the only things that we have done are the weekly live stream that I host and our virtual holiday show. But all of the above were used mainly in a live setting so that we could chat with our audience during the shows. So I like to consider that a little more interactive than I think a normal quote unquote YouTube channel.
Excellent. What about the other 2 who said other?
We use YouTube as well.
Okay.
So I put YouTube.
Excellent.
Yeah, YouTube is where I think our direction is heading, but we also want to try to capture emails and be able to utilize some direct communication, even if it is in mass, but emails and or even some texting if that opportunity presents to do like some flash stuff like we did at the mall this Christmas.
And those who said none, why?
Actually, I'm a new, well, I'm an old retread, I guess. But I'm with Cleveland East Suburban Airs, and I know we have a website, but I didn't consider that social media. And I don't, we use Zoom, we use for our own internal meetings right now. And of course, we use emails and texting, but I'm not aware of anything else.
Okay.
We may have it, but I'm not aware of it yet.
Okay. Good stuff.
Our chapter doesn't really use much of the stuff other than Zoom, emails, and basically sending out our publications through the mailing system. A lot of people on my chapter, being up in the higher number on age-wise, they tend to stay more to the active area of let's get the word out, but they're not, I want to say, technologically applied to the social medias online wise.
Okay. So there's definitely two ways to look at social media. There's the, as you're talking about, our internal doesn't necessarily use it, but there's also forward facing where the community, it's a great opportunity for the community to get to know about us. Look at, for example, Johnny Appleseed District. We have a page and we have a group. And our page is more internal. Members of the Johnny Appleseed District, inside communications, like inside ballpark or inside baseball. Whereas our group is outside. So if we're, we can partner with the Columbus page and outside members will see that. When you post something to a page, I'm kind of jumping way ahead, but just kind of giving you an idea why I'm asking these questions. When you post something to a page, it's not guaranteed that it's going to show up in those who follow you and those who like you. It's not guaranteed it's going to show up in their algorithm. But when you post something to a group, the way Facebook is twisting, and you see like they're even doing lots of commercials about groups and everything right now, they're putting all their money into groups. So when you post something to a group, it's pretty much guaranteed that if that person is a member of your group, they're going to see it. So that's just something to make a notation for yourself as we talk down the road a little later on about these types of things. Anyway, I have another poll. I have 4 polls in total because it's a cool, fun tool, and I think we should use it. Okay, this one, this is you personally. Okay, a few more seconds. Okay, here are our results. So about half of you follow the district Facebook, whether that's Johnny Appleseed or Cardinal District. Good. 2 of you are following the Instagram. I don't know if that's Johnny Appleseed or Cardinal, but both districts have an Instagram account. So if whichever one you are from, I follow both of them. Johnny Appleseed's is literally Johnny Appleseed District, and Cardinal is, let me go to my, not my followers, who I'm following. I think it's the Cardinal District. Let me double check that. I should have had that in advance. And I mean, we're both districts are kind of one of those, oh yeah, I have an Instagram, we need to post to it. So, oh yeah, it's Cardinal District VHS. Sorry. District Instagram. I didn't know my district had a Facebook account. It just cuts at my core, but now you do. I didn't know my district had an Instagram account. That one I'm okay with. And I don't use social media. So, okay, that's going to be an interesting conversation that I think after we get through this, you're going to have to evaluate. The key to remember with social media is one, if you're in a marketing role, it's kind of essential. It's also the least expensive way to do any form of advertising to your members and your constituents, advertising to your families, advertising to your community. It's free promotion. It doesn't have to be a 24/7 job. As well, you don't have to personally participate. You'll have an account in which you have to set up your connection to your page or your group through your account, but you can just be a voyeur. I mean, there's a lot of people who don't post anything up there. And the thing to remember about social media is if you don't like what somebody says, don't look at it. Like, don't follow them. Don't, block them, unfriend them, do whatever. It's your account. Because I worked at Harmony Hall, I have daily an influx of barbershoppers who want to be my friend. And I use giant air quotes around friends. I try to keep my personal page to those that I have met personally, feel like I have a relationship with, and some feelings have gotten hurt. And I don't know 50 million people, but yet 50 million people want to friend me for whatever reason. So I make sure that I manage it the way I want to manage it. So again, we'll talk a lot about social throughout this because it is the best way to get in touch with the community. And I know people are going to say, oh, everybody's getting off of Facebook and they're going to this or they're going to that. It's only the people that don't want Facebook to work in their favor that are jumping off or don't believe, have differences of opinions and those types of things. Facebook continues to grow. Facebook continues to grow for the 45 and older group. I also see high schoolers who are suddenly, getting out of school. And once they graduate, it's cool to get a Facebook account now because of the alumni pages and those types of things. And, they move away and it's the best way for them to converse with family members. So don't think it's going away. I really don't believe it is. TikTok is fun, but it's short little videos and it's a much younger demographic. Twitter is great for business. Instagram is great to tell a visual story. So last poll, I've been able to kill a good 32 minutes on polls. I'm glad I played in advance. Is same type of question, but does your chapter follow your district social media accounts? And for those of you that have just let in, if you would make sure to drop your name in the chat, that would be great. I'm just using that for attendance. And those that just popped in, I apologize if you had to wait very long. I was chatting. I like that you need a we do now option on the last. I appreciate you. All right, just a few more seconds. All right. So good number of your chapters follow the district Facebook page. That's good. We'll talk about why I think that's really important. A couple of you don't have a chapter social media, and that's okay too. But we'll talk about that. Okay, great. So as I've been babbling about social media, anybody want to jump in with some thoughts on what I was saying or your thoughts on social?
Yeah, I'll hop on that one real quick. I just took the position of marketing VP for the Southern Gateway Chorus this year. After being pretty involved with it last year, and the main goal that I have is to really increase our internet presence, because it is my firm belief that you'll never get 100% of your target audience. So why keep it small? And the thing I've been preaching to the guys for a while now is social media is basically the concept of word of mouth taken to the extreme. In that you could put an ad on TV, you could put an ad on a YouTube video, you could make a billboard, you can hand out flyers, but at the end of the day, social media is like being able to talk to that many people directly. And I think we can all agree that word of mouth is, while not the most efficient in terms of the number of people you can get to, it is the most effective once you actually get it done. And social media is basically the way to make that efficient.
So I will say I'm very happy to see this many here after the year we've had. How many of you, just raise your hand, were in this marketing position this last year?
Yeah, I hear you.
A couple of you. So the rest of you are brand new to the marketing position. Coming back to it, kind of brand new, kind of do whatever. Okay. Hopefully you have some pen and paper with you. And I'm just going to run through, and anybody please jump in and, share what you're writing down. But how do I do this? So this last year, obviously, we've had, how many of you have been able to rehearse this last year in one way or another? Ooh, I got a lot of hands. Real quick, talk amongst yourselves. How are you doing it?
Zoom.
Boom.
And some live, distanced, outside.
We're not actually singing together, but we are meeting weekly on Zoom.
Mainly Zoom.
Zoom.
Yeah, we're meeting Zoom.
My quartet got together twice.
Yeah, we meet on Zoom. Our director will play some tracks and we'll sing along and we'll talk about new things. We have learned a couple new songs, but of course we won't know how well that goes until we get together.
Matt, do you have a question? Or are you just raising your hand that you're practicing?
Oh, no, that was for the practicing when you asked the question. Sorry, I don't know how to end that.
Oh, okay. It'll eventually go away.
Oh, there we go.
No worries. Okay. So, okay, I like that I've heard both we're singing and we're still just getting together to get together, right? Because we all know how important the relationship aspect of barbershop is, in addition to the music. So these are the questions. And for those of you that were with me last year, we went through this exercise, but I think it's important to go through. What enticed you to your first rehearsal? Write down some adjectives. What brought you to barbershop the first time? And then somebody just starts sharing.
Could you repeat that, Michelle? Could you repeat the question?
What brought you to barbershop the first time? What enticed you to join? Or to attend your first? Sorry, I'm having to log into my other computer here.
Well, I can take my first experience of barbershop was in the Beaver Valley chapter. Guy at work. I was new to the company in Beaver Falls, and he was a barbershopper, Dick Trineri, and he says, "What's it?" I was just straight out of college. He said, "What do you do?" I said, "Not much." He said, "You want to sing?" And I said, "Want to sing? Barbershop? Oh, I love the harmony. I love the old song. I'm originally from Canton, and there was a sing-along bar that had started called the House of Foam, and we used to go out there and sing the old songs. Somebody played the piano, another guy played banjo, and they put the words up on the wall, and everybody sang and had a great time. So he said barbershop, and I says, hey, I'm in.
About somebody else.
Well, that's kind of comforting because they picked me up in a bar.
So drinking, I'm hearing drinking is an essential part of barbershop.
Greg and I are from the same chapter, or same chapter. I joined just about a month after Greg did, a little over 6 years ago. And I was in a little bar in Dayton with my wife and another couple. And about 8 or 10 people came in late in the evening and ordered some food and stuff. And they sang the Whiffenpoof song, which I sang in college, and I recognized it. I was sitting across the room and they saw my lips moving, and they pointed at me and said, that guy knows the song. So when they were done, I went over and I said, who are you and why are you singing 4-part harmony in a bar? And so they said, we rehearse right down the street. They just got out of a rehearsal. And so they said, if you want to try it. So I went the next week, and the week after that, and the week after that. And after about 4 months, I joined. That was about almost 7 years ago.
So then follow-up question to that is, what are the words that keep you coming back?
Say again, what are the words?
What keeps you coming back? Because you go the first time, you're excited, this is cool, and then you find out the time commitment and the money and all of those things. What makes you come back? I'll explain.
Oh, they were just the most gracious group of people. They were very supportive. I was like a fish out of water. I don't read music. I mean, I wasn't musically trained, but they were just wonderful people, and I've been going ever since.
Okay. Somebody else.
My daddy made me do it.
Daddy made you do it. So family.
He was my dad went to a Delta Kings show, and they announced on the show that there was a guest night coming up, and he was a little leery about driving to that place. And he asked me, since I live fairly close, if I would take him down. So I drove him down there for the guest night, and he kind of liked what he was hearing, so I kept driving him for several weeks, and finally he decided that he didn't think he could do that, and I joined. So my brother and I both joined at the same time. And eventually I talked him into. I said, you got me into this. I said, your turn to do it now. So I drug him back down there, and the three of us sang together for several years until he passed away. It was an interesting experience.
I love that. Pam just dropped in a little note to say she's the odd one out because she's here to support her husband in the chorus he sings with. So the family connection is just as important. I like that. About someone else.
You meet a lot of interesting people. At least I have over the years. And Joe Lyles, some of those guys. From all walks of life, experiences that they have had. It's very.
No, we didn't.
It's very important to me. The fellowship we have. We hate when we lose a member. We really do, to death or whatever, or if they move out of the area, which is one of the problems we had previously. The chapter here in Cambridge was a chapter for 30 years, and then it folded. And so that's why I started going to Zanesville, because they were up and running then. So that's why I stayed as a dual member. But we started in 2000 with the Cambridge chapter again. So we've done over, 50 years now in this area. So you can tell that we really enjoy it, what we're doing. And our community, you know, spreading the word and through songs.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have two things. The joy of singing, which I've always tried to in some way or another with a group, and the feeling of inclusion. You're not weeded out like they do in sports. You're not competitive that you've got to be the top. You're embraced. And the other thing is we've got a variety of ages. We've got, when I first joined, you know, there were people in their 90s, there were people in their 20s, and you weren't categorized, put in a box, and people from different backgrounds. Now, I found that interesting about barbershop. Is also in my nursing career. You deal with a variety of people, so it's all good.
That's good. Kevin.
Could I add something? Dave, I so appreciated that comment, and Mike McCarthy, your recollection of joining right after me. I remember how eager I was to sing with the group, but how nervous I was to actually come in at the first couple of rehearsals. And part of my decision to stay had to do with the graciousness and the encouragement of those around me, especially in the lead section where I sort of landed. But there were two other things. One was I was torn as to whether to sing with the barbershoppers or join a community chorus. I knew I couldn't do both. But the night they handed out Smokey Robinson's My Girl as one of the songs that we were doing for the show, that tipped the balance. I thought we are not just going to sing songs from the 20s and 30s, but we are actually going to sing some contemporary ballads. That was really important. And the other thing that was crucial for me was the night, probably 4 weeks after I joined, when we were invited as newcomers to just sing one of the polecats, and to have the experience of singing the lead line in Let Me Call You Sweetheart, and not have it be a train wreck for me as the first time. That was so encouraging, because it really animated the joy of being able to sing in a quartet sometimes, or in the chorus. So those were two things: was the actual experience of doing it.
I just realized how much I miss us all being in person and having that sung to me right now. Like, I just got like all melancholy. Oh my God, I want us to go back. Kevin, you were about to say something?
Yes, I sang with my dad 35 years ago with the chorus, the same chorus we're in now, Circle City Sound. But my dad passed away back, you know, almost 30 years ago. Anyway, so I took a hiatus away from the chorus for almost 30 years. Came back in 2015 when Instant Classic went off to Pittsburgh and did their thing. But with me, I brought my brother, my son, and 2 nephews. So every Monday night, or Sunday nights now, we have a family reunion with just my family. So it's pretty cool to go from one generation with my dad and I, and then for me and my son and my nephews and stuff like that. So we have, actually, my brother and I sing in a quartet called Brothers of Accord. And only in the past year and a half, we've been able to sing for all of the professional places here in Indy, national anthem for Pacers, just our quartet, and then Indy 11 and hockey and soccer. And anyway, it's been crazy. Our quartet's really getting some notoriety right now. So it's been a lot of fun.
That.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else before I continue on?
The thrill of that ringing that first chord, that first night you're there, like the gentleman said before, getting to sing in a quartet for the first time, other than singing in the shower or the car with rock and roll. That pretty much, I guess, eventually after a couple of weeks of taking Dad down there, it kind of set the hook in me, and I've been in now for 25 years. So, and our chapter, by the way, is celebrates their 77th anniversary last week. We were on the 2nd. We were 77 years old. So that's a double.
Yes, You know, another way to hook them too is do a tag with them first time, you know, and that gets them hooked sometimes.
Yep, same thing.
Okay, so who can figure out why I just asked those two questions?
Because on average, most people's minds and experiences work the same way. Therefore, what worked for you could very well work for others.
That is your value proposition. As
I think
marketers, when you are telling your course, your chapter story, you're telling your story because your passion and your love is the same as everyone else on the risers with you. So those words you wrote down, the words you heard, here's what I heard: harmony, old song, friendship, drinking, family, joy, family again, friendship, people, variety of levels. You can be new, you can be seasoned, history, inclusion, encouragement, graciousness, historical, but yet relevant at the same time, the ringing of chords. These are your value propositions. These are the things that you need to be using these words, using these adjectives to tell the story. The next time you are with your chapter, the next time you're meeting on a Zoom, ask each person to go around and give you one or two words that describes their experience, because that's your story. That is your why. Every message, whether it's in written word in an email or a flyer, or whether you're putting a video together, what's your why to be doing this? And it should be driven by one of those adjectives. Does that make sense? I mean, the smiles, as you guys started talking, it was like, I'm going to sit up a little straighter. I'm happy, right? That is your story. You don't have to go and reinvent the wheel. Whether you're a chapter of 15 or a chapter of 115, each one of them has a story. And you can spend a year just telling their story. And in all ropes up into connecting with, that's the part of the retention. Okay, because she saw how happy you were and how lighthearted you felt when you were telling that story. And it's a part of acquisition because somebody else out there is going to relate. Oh, I need more balance in my life. I need more harmony in my life. I sing in the shower. I sing in the car. I'm not very good. I'm afraid, but you know what? They were afraid too. So being honest about those things, because it's very intimidating. So I was on the risers my whole life. Some of you have heard this story, up until the day I graduated high school. The day I graduated high school, that graduation ceremony was the last time I was on the risers for 30 years until I started working at the Barbershop Harmony Society. I didn't know barbershop. I loved my choral director, but she didn't introduce us to barbershop. I didn't know what barbershop was. Except my senior class trip, apparently I took a picture on Main Street in Disney at our class trip, and I realized I loved barbershop before I knew what barbershop was. So just getting into it, I was totally terrified the first time I went to a rehearsal. But I knew that I was going to be embraced. I was going to be put next to somebody that was going to hold my hand through the journey. They're all doing, lip exercises to strengthen their lips, and I'm trying to squish mine together because I can't do what they're doing. And I never felt embarrassed. I never felt like the oddball out, because that's what our community is. It's a community of loving and welcoming people. And we have to tell that story. We have to talk about, show funny pictures of, me standing on the rise or holding my lips together, like trying to blow through it like a duck, right? But that's okay because there's somebody else that's going to connect to. All of that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. Thoughts after. 8:53. Let's take a 5-minute break. Turn off your cameras and go grab some coffee and do what you need to do. And we'll be back in a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
Thank you, thank you, thank
Lowell Thomas, it's good to see you again. How are you, buddy?
Yeah, I was wondering if that was the Matt Moody I know.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
I'm
Hanging in there? How's your family doing?
We're doing all right. We're getting spread out even further now within the past year or so.
Oh, really?
My mom and stepdad moved out to Arizona.
Oh, okay.
And then just recently, within the last couple months, my dad and stepmom moved to West Virginia.
Oh, all right.
Little sister. So everyone's just getting kind of spread out.
But everybody's safe?
Yeah, everyone's doing pretty good.
Great.
Chapter wise up here, we're doing okay. We're still on Zoom meetings and stuff, but we just actually lost Ernie Jackson.
Oh, okay.
So we're kind of
we just lost our oldest member in Y City.
Which one was that? I know Kenny passed away a while back.
And Kenny did, yeah, and also Paul.
I remember Paul passing too.
Yeah, we've lost a lot of good ones. And Jim, I think Ralph Hand, was our secretary.
Not Longshore.
Yes.
Oh no.
Cancer finally got him. Doggone it.
Oh.
This cancer stuff is crap. I mean, really, I don't know.
Yeah, I understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how we lost Ernie. He had
same thing, huh?
Yeah, kind of. So.
Well, you never know. When the Lord calls you, you gotta go.
Yep.
Like I say, I lost my cousin yesterday. He's 87. There's 6 years between he and I. I turned 81, by the way. This year I'll be 82. And my wife and I are going to be celebrating our 60th, Lord willing, in December this year. Yeah.
How's your brother Len?
Oh, he's doing great too. He's 89, so he'll be 90 this year. And he still plays the piano fantastic. Unbelievable.
He'll be playing piano even when he's gone.
Oh, yeah. I mean, his experience with Fred Waring and the Pennsylvanians was something else.
Oh, yeah. It was a joy and pleasure to sing and play with him as well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's right. You did, didn't you?
Yeah, I got to do a lot with him since I was in the fraternity.
Was it the Muskingum at Muskingum?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Muskingum was actually how I got introduced to barbershop because of him and
well, great.
Kyle Paul and
Kyle.
Kevin DeBall. Those three were my main factors barbershop over there within the fraternity.
Great.
So that's how I kind of got stumbled into it.
Uh-huh. Well, that's great.
Believe it or not, I actually had to put both my index fingers in my ears in order to be able to create harmony with them. And then just start pulling them out in order to be able to actually do it clearly.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we lost a lot of really good guys over in Zanesville.
Yeah, I miss it.
But we're still hanging in there. Not as large as we used to be, but, you know, coming along. Where are you singing at?
I'm with the Canton Hall of Fame chorus.
Oh, okay. I've been to some of their programs, or and they put on some really good shows up there. Got a really nice high school auditorium that they've been using.
We've been
recently.
For our annual shows, we've been using the different high schools. We mainly sing at a church just about 2 miles down the road from me.
Oh, okay. So where do you live now?
I live just right across from the actual Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. So you're in Canton now.
Yeah, I've lived up here for about 4 years now and spent 1 year over in Magnolia.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I thought you were still at what is it? The other place where we sent the kids to Harmony Camp, or this. Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I'm trying to think where it was. We were doing it. Of course, it used to be in Columbus, but then they moved it to the university somewhere, I think, or a church function there.
Mm.
And yeah, we're still supporting the Harmony Camp, all the kids, both chapters, Zanesville and Cambridge, and we're supporting that. And of course, Zanesville quite a bit, you know, especially with Paul and starting, you know, getting that money from the, I think, trust fund or something from the bank or something he used to work with.
Yeah, Paul was the he was the main train driving that.
Oh yeah, 10 years we were had him as a director. That was great.
Right, looks like we have, I think, everybody back, at least those that I can see. So, brain, okay. Oh, why,
What the hell happened?
who just took over my computer?
Why did it go away?
Lowell, somebody is
Yes,
sharing their computer.
I must have done something wrong. Sorry, if I can figure it out. There we go.
Hi.
Sorry about that.
This has been a comedy of errors. I love it. That's very fun. So our takeaway from our discussion that we just had before we ran and grabbed some more coffee was a reminder that it doesn't have to be just your story to tell. Your value proposition, your messaging comes from everybody that's on the risers. So have a discussion, right? I have found too often, hey, I'll have somebody call me and say, hey, I just took on the marketing position. I don't know what to do, right? I don't, I feel like I'm saying the same message over and over, or whatever those types of things are. You are the tool of everybody else's voice. Okay. They have the passion. I mean, you do too, but in this role, you're going to ask them, what keeps you coming? Oh, my family legacy. We've been doing this for a combined 85 years together. Okay, I'm going to be the tool that tells that story. Okay. Those types of things. So, or, I didn't know I could sing until I joined, those types of things. So just think of yourself as the tool that tells the other stories. So we talked about your why. My computer keeps, hang on. So I want to jump into goals. Okay. I'm going to skip over. We're going to talk about, anyway. So measurable goals. And this is where marketing and especially membership comes into play together. Okay. So setting specific and measurable goals. You guys all know how to, what that means. But understanding what your success is, right? Especially right now. It's easy to say, okay, I'm taking this on, but we're not going to have an event this year. We're meeting, but we're not singing, but yet we're still responsible for retention and for growth. Okay. So what does that look like? Because your president's going to say, we need to grow. Everybody on the risers is going to say, we need to grow. Okay. So there's two ways of looking at that. First, why are we losing people? Okay. It's your responsibility as marketing and membership to know why they are leaving. If somebody doesn't show up 2 weeks in a row, you need to be calling them, sending them an email, texting them, hopping into their DM, whatever it is to reach out to them, not under the guise of, I'm going to push to get you back. Okay. Because there could be something really going on. You're concerned, right? You're reaching out to them because you value them as a friend, as someone, peer on the risers with you, obviously as a member, but you don't want to be like, we need you back. Well, no, we need to understand what's going on. But until you understand why they're leaving, the hardest thing that they're going to say is, I can't work under that director. I can't, whatever this leadership is. You're going to hear that, but that's usually, my experience has been, one of the main reasons people leave, and then you never know. So that then allows you to have conversations with your leadership team about, here's what I'm learning. Okay. What can we do to make those changes? So when your leadership comes to you and says, we need to grow, you need to push back and say, what does that look like? And are we ready? You've heard this from Harmony Hall direction. You've heard it from our board of directors. You heard it when everyone in Harmony was rolled out, right? So, okay, we want to have 1 million people. Are we ready to have 1 million people? It's one thing to say we want to grow our chapter from 15 to 20. That's manageable. They say we need to be at 50 by the end of next year. Are we prepared for 50? Do we have enough songbooks? Do we have enough section leaders? Do we have enough, whatever it is, do we have enough risers to hold those people? Okay. Too often the conversation just ends with, well, we need to grow. Okay. Well, we need to break that down and find out what that looks like. Okay. What are realistic goals? Is it 5, 10, 15? Well,
I wonder if anybody else has the same problem. But what it really comes down to is money. They're very, they think that our society is charging too much to be a member. Does anybody else have that problem? I mean,
I can stick my oar in the water. I was a member of a church choir, and a new fellow joined the church choir. I got to talking to him one day, and here he was a barber shopper. But he said the particular chapter he was in, it just got way too expensive with the dues, and was one thing, but then all the extras of the costs of going to contests, the costs of uniforms, the cost of everything. It just became prohibitive, and it took over his joy of singing.
right. I understand that. It's a shame that it has to happen, but what can you do? You can't force them to pay for membership. I don't know. It's a tough way to go. Now they're members of other things, Kiwanis, Lions Club, you name it. But evidently they're not charging as much. I don't know. But I know that is a thing that really is hurting our membership.
sure. And I mean, you can make a case for either way. You could say, well, even with all this, we cost a lot less than a bowling league or even a softball league. But we might cost more than being a part of Rotary, but they're not singing in Rotary, right? So we're going to find a case for everything. I mean, the society has their dues, and then there's chapter dues and district dues, and all those other types of things.
Actually, excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to say that my wife, like I say, is a sweet Adeline, and they charge quite a bit more than the men even.
Absolutely. I've heard that a lot.
Each chapter charges different, probably.
What was that, Denny?
I say each chapter probably charges a little different, because a lot of chapters all the chapters have the option of chapter dues, and you can place those basically whatever your membership will stand. Some chapters have very high dues, others are very low. Some of them have uniform costs built into the dues, and that really ramps things up. We haven't had too much of a problem with it, but there's always one or two guys that you get in there that might be really great singers and members that just can't afford it because of their life situation, their family situation. But yeah, every time I get my bill, I wince a little bit.
But if it's worth it to you, you find a way, or you ask for help and those types of things, which there's a lot of things flying in my head right now. One is understanding what type of chapter you are. Because if you're a show chapter, if you're a contestable chapter, that's your goal, it's going to cost more money. If you're a community chapter who maybe gets together on a Tuesday afternoon because it's an older generation, do you have to have such high dues? So understanding what it is, and then being upfront as membership, right? Again, with your responsibilities as whether you're membership and or marketing, making sure that when somebody comes to their first rehearsal, they're walking away with realistic expectations. Yeah, they had fun and they're riding that high, But there's nothing worse than them coming to 4 rehearsals and you're like, oh, by the way, it's going to cost you $500 this year because we do this, right? Make sure they leave with an understanding and then what their options are, right? Is there a payment plan? Is there a way that, you know what, we take up a kitty and if you let us know that it's a hardship, you know, we have a little chapter scholarship, so to speak, to get you through this first year or whatever that is. But those are things that as marketing and membership, that's why they go hand in hand. What is our story? And how are we going to get them to be involved that works best for them? Because no two people are the same. Right? You can't have one message that's going to fit everybody. So knowing that, okay, this is our plan A, and if plan A doesn't work for you, come and talk to me because I've got a few things in my back pocket, a C, B, C, and D. Make sense?
I was going to say something right along that line. Maybe have a chapter voluntary assistance fund that nobody has to pay in, but if we're about ready to lose somebody, now that could be a very sensitive conversation. And just to know that that would be there and there would be people putting into that, that might be an idea.
That's an interesting point. We actually do that or have done that in the past for some of our members that are not capable of paying it. We call it like an angel fund. You have to be careful with that because there's some there's some pitfalls in the treasury or treasurer's job that doesn't allow some of that kind of internal thing. But yeah, if you can work something out that doesn't violate any of the rules, that has worked for us on several occasions.
And making it a committee decision, not a one-person decision. There should be like an angel fund committee that evaluates or whatever that is.
Yeah, we usually have like that. I think there was 3 people that were the kind of ran that particular fund. They accumulated the money, and then we would funnel a person in need would be funneled to those guys, and they would make the decision on whether or not this was a good thing to spend the money on.
Right. Jeff? Oh, you're on.
Bear with me. Sorry, first up, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm a little technologically challenged, and Eventbrite kept saying that I needed to go. So I had to go back in my emails and pull it. But anyway, I'm Jeff Broadfoot. I'm Vice President of Marketing Public Relations for Circle City Sound. And we also have a similar, we call it a Sharpshooters Fund that we established based on a quartet that we had years ago that volunteered all over the place. So we did it. And I didn't see who made that last comment, but it can be very sticky because most guys won't reach out for help because they're too proud. Okay. So they'll reach out maybe to 1 or 2 of their buddies, you know, and say, hey, I would love to do this if I can afford it. So as an executive team, we've made a decision to limit the number of people that know that, and that we have a small group then that decides whether that's good or not. Now, I will tell you this, we've had guys abuse it too. It happens once in a while. It's not, I'm going to say it's the exception rather than the rule. We've had guys that have said, hey, I really can't afford it, and they've used it just to get to international, and then they quit. So I'm going to say that's the exception rather than the rule, but it is very, very sticky. But in our chapter, we have made a commitment that anybody that wants to, we're going to find a way to get them to go and to get them to fulfill this need to be a part of the community and sing. So anyway. That's
really great. You know, when you have your, let's say your chapter dues are $25, you should offer a $30 option, and $5 of that goes to the fund, you know, whatever, so that it's a unanimous, anonymous bucket, that type thing.
We also are now investigating multiple ways that we can contribute to the financial bottom line. And I mean, with the pandemic out there, there is money available. We are being, and we have a little bit of an advantage because we're in a large metropolitan area of Indianapolis, but we are actually able to get grant money because we have shown, and we do this through our Music Medics program, because we're showing the philanthropy aspect. The governor granted us a $10,000 grant. Okay, so that was like, oh my gosh, we were like, and before that, I don't know if Kevin shared this, but we were doing all of our funding through Lucas Oil, which was the Indianapolis Colts, and we hate it. I mean, you talk about hard work. It's not just a 6-hour shift. These were 14-hour shifts, standing on your feet, gave us all an appreciation for what those poor people go through. So our goal was, we have got to figure out a way to replace Lucas Oil. And so we said, here's what it's going to take to fund the based on what our organization needs. Here's the bogey. And here's different ways you can do that. You can write a check, you can do this, you can do this, but there are multiple ways, other fundraisers out there that we found, and we're just now into this. So I may be sticking my foot in my mouth here in another couple of years, but Kevin, do you think there's any way we're ever going to go back to Lucas Oil?
Never. We're not going back.
Kevin's our VP of membership, so it's kind of it goes hand in hand. So anyway, guys, sorry to dominate. I just wanted to tell you some of the things that we're experimenting with, and we're praying we don't never have to go back to Lucas Oil, because we've lost members because of that. We've had guys that literally said, we're not going to join the course because we literally can't stand for 14 hours. I mean, I'm handicapped myself. I had to bring a stool, a wheelchair. I mean, there are other ways to make money besides handing greasy French fries and chicken wings to, patrons at a football game. So overpriced too, I might add.
No, I appreciate it, Jeff. Kevin, I'm going to put you on the hot seat. Jeff just said you lost members because of Lucas Oil. Now that you're not doing it, what have you done to get those members back?
A lot of silence.
Go ahead. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. We're just starting to scratch the surface of where the new direction is going to be. With the COVID thing starting to come to an end, hopefully, and praying for that. But you're right. We need to pursue those guys that actually walked away because of those reasons.
But from a marketing standpoint, we keep our story out there. We've been meeting, we Zoom every week, okay? And when we first started Zooming, we had 70 members. Then it dropped to 60, now to 50. Guys are getting burnt out on Zooming. We're now down to 30 hardcore guys. But a lot of them are the older fellas that like to get together socially. The younger guys have left us. They want to sing, and I don't know if and it's not just young and old, but it seems like the older fellas are the ones that are getting together, and a couple of the younger guys. But anyway, so our marketing it's paramount that we got to keep out there. We got to keep telling our story. We got to keep telling the good things we're doing, and we're doing it through Facebook. And that's the other thing. It's fallen on about several individuals in the chorus, and we're afraid of burning those guys out. So member involvement is really hard right now. Okay, it really is. And unless you set this vision out so we're actually going through a complete rebranding process. So just to, and I don't want to get into all that stuff because that started 2 years ago, and we've had some really in-depth discussions, Kevin. And finally, we had to put our foot down and say, guys, we got to quit. We may not get it perfect. We may not get everything everybody wants, but we're this close. Okay. And so, and the next thing is, when are we going to get together again? Who knows? Who knows?
Is Cole still leading that rebranding?
God knows.
Jeff, this is Denny Down from Delta Kings. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
You said you're a lot larger active chapter than we were. We've got probably a basic active membership of about 30. You said that you were losing people every couple of weeks on your Zoom. Now we've maintained somewhere between 19 and 23 people on there every week. We've been doing it since May. What do you do during your Zoom meetings that isn't keeping the interest of your people? Our director sets a program, and we do rehearse. Although, of course, you're singing to yourself in the closet or in the bathroom or wherever you do your Zooming, but we do go over our repertoire songs. Although we didn't have a single concert since last March. We also went over our Christmas songs, spent 1 or 2 nights just singing Christmas songs to keep them in our minds, to remember the words and to sing. We have one of our tech guys that plays a learning track over Zoom, and then we sing along with that. And the director, he just picks out the songs, and that seemed to have kept the interest up. We've actually brought in 2 new members in that time frame, so that's the way we've been running it. So not everybody can do that. You need a tech person that can set all this stuff up. So.
Yeah, Denny, I appreciate your comments. That's exactly spot on. You've got to keep it fresh. You've got to keep it new. You've got to, so we did those things. We were singing to ourselves, but we would have guests come on and no music, and no. Yeah. So the director, Theo Hicks, is our director, and Theo is getting his master's in, so he figured out a way to post the music online, and so we can see it and sing with it. And that helped a lot. The other thing we did that really, really helped is the guys just want to sing, okay? Even though, but singing to ourselves, we do the learning tracks by ourselves all the time. So it is singing to yourself. But what we did that really got people excited is we did a Christmas virtual choir. And we've got, Kevin, how many did we have participate? 45? 40?
Yeah, 45.
45 out of our 80. And so we actually attracted, and I told you we were down to like 28 to 30. So we got 10 of those guys back. And that thing has gotten 5,000 shares already. If you get a chance, go to the YouTube, Circle City Sound YouTube channel. We did an upbeat Christmas song. Cole Kitzmiller, the baritone for Instant Classic, is also our technical guy. He put together. He's actually doing this professionally for choruses. So if you guys want to do it, and look, I'm going to give a plug for him, but I've heard a lot of guys do it. Nobody's as good as Cole. I'm sorry. Listen to the video. He did virtually no pitch correction on that all. He said there was a guy or two that was maybe, but I mean and that thing really, I think the timing was right too. It was just kind of what the guys needed. So that was different because it was virtual, but we were able to take our voice and mix it with the others online. And so we're planning on doing at least 2 or 3 of those this year.
Yep.
We think that's the way. That seems to be what the guys really are excited about. But it does take someone in your chorus with the expertise, because the song has to be such that you can rhythmicize it. I mean, it can't be a song with different rhythms in it, because, it's got to be a song that has pretty much the same rhythm throughout the whole song. So I don't know all the technical aspects of that, but the song selection would be very, very important as far as everybody being able to sing together. So that's some of the things we've done.
Yeah, Kyle did the same thing for Gateway. They did a virtual song as part, I think it was called, as part of their Christmas show, and then they took video captures from all their previous Christmas shows and put together a Christmas show. So he did a very, very damn good job. Excuse my French, but yeah, he's a very talented man.
Hey, Jeff.
Yes.
Can you maybe email me some of your prior ideas, things, your experiences, and because I'm trying to get some ideas here for Lafayette Tippecanoe notes, things that work, things that didn't work, and some of your ideas. I put my email address on the chat.
Okay, I'd be happy to. You betcha.
Thanks.
Okay. For those of you choruses, since we're talking about a lot of this virtual stuff, which this past December was so much fun to watch everything online. I mean, I was watching at work during the day. I was watching at home at night, middle of the night when you wake up. I was so proud of our society for finding a way to do it. And that didn't come from Harmony Hall. That came from you guys, right? Your local college has students studying sound engineering. If you don't have somebody in your chorus, reach out to a professor, find who their rock star is, and get them involved. They're going to need senior projects. They're going to need capstone projects. They're going to need a portfolio that they're putting together to get their dream job. Be their portfolio. It's the same thing. If you're in marketing and you don't know graphic design and you haven't figured out Canva yet, reach out to your colleges. Find somebody who needs stuff for their portfolio and use them, right? Call it an internship, call it whatever it is, but use your community, because I guarantee you that sound guy or that engineering kid, sound engineering person has people that he knows or she knows, and they have family, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh, guys, listen to this. And next thing you know, somebody's going, oh my goodness, what is that? Next thing you know, they're walking in your door for a guest night, right? So
Hey, Lowell Thomas, that she actually brought up a good point there. I spent my last 2 years over at Muskingum University doing studio recording for a commercial recording class, and was recording all of the music department's performances and turning them into high quality CDs. That might be something Zane's chapter might want to get a hold of Muskingum University's music department and see if they're still doing commercial recording and studio recording stuff. And you guys might be able to collaborate with them on that. I know I've been trying to do something kind of in that way on my own as a project at my own house since I had done through that stuff, and I miss doing it. I'm going to try to see if I can get something going with Canton once we get back up and running on a normal basis.
Was that Mount Vernon, now that I think?
No, New Concord.
Well, yeah, Muskingum University, yeah.
Yeah, you would need to talk to Dr. Laura Schumann for that.
Oh, I know her. I know, she's great.
She's the one who started that process.
Okay.
That's a terrific idea, by the way.
What a violinist she is.
Out of our key.
what was that?
Out of our key. The violin.
It can be. She's been on our shows, annual shows in Zanesville.
Oh, great, great.
The one that Daniel's going down to Georgia, the devil went down or something.
Yeah.
That's the one she played. Oh, fantastic.
That's a hell of a song.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he just passed away last year, didn't he?
Yes, unfortunately, we've lost a lot of really good entertainers and singers. But you know, when the Lord calls you, you gotta go.
All
you don't
right.
want to miss that train.
Right.
So we have definitely jumped around here. We kind of started off talking about retention and acquisition, and kind of jumped into, you know, what a rehearsal night looks like right now. We've heard we still have, you know, almost everybody showing up to, we've kind of lost half of them. Jeff made a really interesting point about the social aspect and how important that is right now. And it does seem to be our older generation is much more needs that, even if it's a virtual connection right now, versus the younger generation who is probably still going to work 1 or 2 days a week, and it's getting a little more personal interaction. Some suggestions. One of the things I had said when I said, let's do this, is bring your crazy ideas, right? So one of the crazy ideas, I don't know if it works, but I had is when you turn to those younger, and I'm using giant air quotes because age is, you know, just a number, taking a song, and this kind of also ropes into your social media aspect or whatever, but asking them to record a line a week or a section a week, and sharing that out, whether it's an email or on social, for everybody else to learn, using them as a tool, keeps them engaged, keeps them singing while the others are being social and learning it on their own. Does that make sense? So that's just, you know, one idea. Obviously, how many of you have invited in, whether it's a Harmony Hall representative or some of our top echelon singers, to come into your rehearsals and lead something or talk something? If you're not doing that, guys, now is your opportunity to get them face to face with your members at no cost, right? Because if they fly to you to come to a rehearsal night, it's going to cost you something. If they pop into a Zoom, I'm really best friends with Brian Odell, and every night, except for Thursday when he has his own rehearsal, he's popping in and doing something. There are some nights where he goes, from one meeting to the next meeting. And it's the same thing with whether it's Donnie Rose and his team, or it's a lead singer or a baritone or whatever. Just send an email and ask, hey, can you guys pop in? And sometimes it's just to lead a conversation. Sometimes it's to sing. Sometimes it's to share experiences. But anything that keeps everybody engaged, and it's variety.
We've had one about every 6 weeks, some kind of a guest. Our chapter director, Rich Lapp, he's got a wide experience himself across the whole country, and so he's called on some of his friends. We've had a couple of judges, several championship singers, a couple of people from down at the Harmony Hall, and so it's another thing to help keep the interest up. We do the singing, we do that. Something that somebody else mentioned earlier. We do I'm the guy that actually does it. Member spotlight every 2 weeks or so, where I pick on one of the guys that are on that night and ask them about 10 or 12 questions, and we can find out about a little bit about their past barbershopping, how they got into barbershopping, what some of their interests and experiences were, just so that things that they normally wouldn't talk about at a meeting or rehearsal. So anyway, a couple of the things that we do.
I love that. You guys, he mentioned judges. Invite a judge in, play a video of one of your performances from your Christmas show, and let them talk about it, right? Like, do something so that it's feedback on some, might not have been your best, might have not have been your worst, but it's something that your chorus members sitting there on Zoom can see what they're seeing and walk through it.
Exactly. They've brought in some videos from previous internationals, and then played the things, and then asked us to kind of comment on what we saw as if we were the judges, and then how that matched up with what he saw or what the actual judges did. It was for chorus, a couple of choruses and a couple of quartets, and it was an interesting experience. I will say that, and we got to hear some really great singing.
I love that. And your course is not too small, nor is it too big to do this, right? I've heard that a little bit over the last few months is, oh, well, we're at 15, and so what? It's 15 valuable members, valuable friends, and everybody wants to, learn and have fun or be a little starstruck or whatever it is, right? So really good idea. Keep it variety. Once every 6 weeks is good. If you want to take a month and dedicate it to it, keeping everybody coming back week after week, because you're going to have 4 featured guests. Now you might come back on the 5th week too, when that guest isn't there, but we're going to pick up what we've learned and move on from there. Okay. So right now, we will have we have a joint spring convention between the 2 districts. It's going to be virtual, right? You'll start seeing a save the date come out with that. And as soon as I hang up this and make it, and how that's going to work with the judging and everything like that. And then obviously we have international, and we're confident that we'll have an in-person international. That'll be the first big trial, and that's here in our backyard. I say that sitting in Nashville, but in Johnny Appleseed district. But between now and then, right, like, take this opportunity to retain and to grow. Because it can be done while we're virtual. I really do believe it can be done. And at the same time, now is a great opportunity to invite your community leaders into a rehearsal, right? Invite your Kiwanis and your mayor to come and sit in and watch a video with you guys, and you guys talk about it and why this is such an amazing organization in the community that they need to know about, right? It's a lot easier to get them to attend a Zoom meeting than it is to get on their calendar to invite them into something in person. Right? Because in person, it's still uncomfortable for them to hop in early and then leave, right? But on Zoom, it's as much time as you can give us. They can do it from the comforts of their home, right? So make a list of who your community leaders are, who can then turn around to their, community leaders and talk you guys up and see what you're all about. They probably don't even know about the contribution that you give to their community. And we always say we need more harmony, right? So not only is the BHS Harmony Hall leading the discussion on how to safely sing, how to safely gather, and those types of things. So we're leading that from an organizational standpoint. We are continuing to bring love and harmony to the members of this community. So take that opportunity to reach out and invite them in to see who you are and what you're doing, because then once everybody can start going back out again and they need a quartet to come and sing the national anthem and they need all those types of things, they already know who you are. Kevin liked that. I like your smile, Kevin. Thank you. Thoughts on that? Does anybody?
Michele, I really love what you just said, because it gets at what I'd almost call the spiritual mission of BHS and singing in general. There is nothing we need more in our culture and in our time than something that will build a bridge and strengthen the human community and the bonds that we all share, both as citizens and as members of the human family. And singing does that. And I think that's why people walk away from rehearsals feeling better about themselves and about their lives and about the world. And I think that really is definitely part of our story. So I appreciate you bringing that up.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Jeff just left us a little note that he has to run, but this is a rare opportunity to travel to Bloomington and see them. Yeah, I mean, this is an opportunity. We're 16 to 22,000, depending on who you ask, right? Where are we with our membership this year? I'm not going to give us a number. We're not going to argue about what's right or what's wrong.
Wow.
But even at an international convention, we get 5 to 7,000. Here's an opportunity to travel the country, travel the world, and pop in and meet barber shoppers and hear what they're doing. We're not limited either to inviting guests just from the United States of America, right? You want to bring somebody in from the Musical Island Boys, ask them. They might have to get up at 3 a.m. I don't know what time it is there, but they will do it because they're just as passionate as you are, right? So take this opportunity because it's what's going to keep everybody engaged. Okay. Good. More thoughts, questions? Zach, you had something? No? You were just waiting, huh? Okay.
Just giving a rock on. Let's go.
Love it. All right, good stuff, guys. Normally, this is where I would jump into what makes your membership night different from anybody else's, but we're not going to do that because membership nights are kind of not happening right now. So here's what I want to do. I want to, let's break until 9:45. Everybody run and do what you need to do. And then I want to get into some social media discussion and share with you a form that you're all going to have access to here. Does that sound good?
Yes,
All right,
ma'am.
see you back here in a few minutes. So I put in the chat the spring convention. It's a joint convention, April 16th through 17th. And how it's going to work is this is a recording convention for qualifying for international. So quartets that are hoping to vie for international will come in. There's going to be a panel. They're going to get to, I think, if I remember correctly, each quartet gets about 30 minutes to run through as much as they want with instant feedback from the judging panel. And then they can choose whichever of their takes they want to submit for international. We will then take all of the best takes or the takes that the quartets want, because some will be there for just evaluation, some will be there to submit, and we're going to do a virtual show. So it's almost like a two-part spring convention that will be live for the quartets only at the hotel to record social distancing, just the panel and the tech crew. And then we're going to put all of that together like we did with the Harmony Harvest, all the videos together for presentation a couple of weeks later. Does that make sense to everybody? So I'll start, me and Cece, we'll start promoting that out here shortly and getting the information out to that. But that's how, so there's the spring convention live in person, which is just a recording event. And then there's a spring convention virtual event that you'll get to see everything. Okay. All right. So I am going to, for the first time, we're going to talk about, jump back into the marketing aspect and talk about your messaging and ways to get content out there. This is geared towards social media. So those of you that don't have social media, the same concept applies. You might just need it to be in the written word, or whether you do a mailing or you do an email blast or anything like that. But this is all about content creating and how to schedule it and how to be on top of it through all of this. Oh, I'm using another computer and it keeps going dark. Where did that go? Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. And
damn it.
So if you pop anything in the chat, I can't see right now. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up. This is a Google Sheet, which I will give you all access to. I'll send the link in an email, but I'll also pop it in the chat when I'm done, that I've put together for you guys. You'll see down here at the bottom, you can all see my screen, right? There's strategy, an audit, a calendar, analytics. And over here, I've even given you all of the information you need on the perfect size for each of your images, okay? So for Facebook, for example, if you're designing something organically or if you're using Canva, they have great templates set up. But if you decide that you're eventually going to have an event or you want to promote a member night and you want to put a few dollars towards an ad that targets a certain demographic in your area, all of those are there. I also gave you Instagram and I also gave you Twitter, okay, because I know some have Twitter accounts as well. But jumping back here to strategy, right? These are the things as marketing, the marketing leads for your chapter that you want to think about. And you can go in and when I send you the link to this, you'll want to save a copy of it. So just go up here to File, Make a Copy, and that'll pop into your Google Drive. Or you can download it into Excel if you prefer to do that, okay? So then you're going to go in and you're going to think about your chapter this way, okay? First objective is to grow your brand. And what does that mean? That's obviously awareness. And you're going to look at what your current audience is and what your potential audience is, and your metrics are follows and shares. I'm not going to read each one of these, but you can kind of get the idea. Your objectives turn followers into advocates, okay? So an advocate is going to either be a member or it's going to be an audience member, right? So you want to get your followers, and sometimes that's just family. Sometimes it's your community leaders. Sometimes it's just somebody who stumbled across you. You want to turn them into advocates. Drive leads. Again, you want to convert them into not just members, but you want them, if they're on your Facebook page, you want to get them to watch your videos that are on YouTube, or you want to get them to sign up for your newsletter or those types of things. And we've talked about already again today, improving retention, okay? So your member is also a marketing person, right? They're telling your story. They're telling their story, which is in turn your chapter story. Okay. So you want to think about these. You want to have a discussion. I go back to what I said in the very beginning. You don't do marketing alone. Too often we just assign this position to one person and they feel all the weight on their shoulders. There's nothing wrong with taking one person from each part, or whoever wants to be involved, or a new member and an old member, or seasoned member, let me say, and making a team out of it. Okay. Not a team that needs to be hands-on, touchy-feely, posting and designing, but brainstorming. Okay. Going through these. Take this with to your board and say, let's have a marketing meeting. Okay. It doesn't all fall on your shoulders. So that's your strategy. You want to do an audit. And I gave an example up here of if we were auditing Instagram. Okay. So the network is Instagram. It could be Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, whatever. All right. What is our handle? This is where the whole hit by a bus adage comes into play. If you were hit by a bus today, who else could jump in and continue what you're doing, right? So having all of these things in one place so that when you move on from being the marketing person, the next marketing person can hop right in and take over, all right? I own the channel and CC owns the channel for Instagram, all right? Here you can put a password, okay? If you're sharing this out, you can just simply hide this once you put the password in. And then nobody knows that it's there. Okay. But passwords are essential. Where am I? Unhide. Oh, there you go. Sorry. It's important to know passwords or to have everybody be admins. Whoever's coming in after you should be an admin. You should always have 2 admins on your pages. What is your mission statement for that network? Okay. What is your goal of that network? For Instagram, it's to promote online rehearsals using member photos and quotes. All right. For Facebook, it might be to promote online rehearsal using video or live feed. All right. We're going to go live from every one of our rehearsals. For Twitter, it might be to promote fundraising because that's its business, more of a business tool or something like that. Okay. So you should have a different, like, what is the mission of each of the channels? Key performance indicators, number of followers, number of shares, could be, if it's YouTube, number of views, number of shares, number of comments, whatever that is. Your top content, you should be auditing right now. What is your top content? Okay. So let's say I'm going to go to my Instagram and the top likes that we had or comments we had was on our House of Delegates post. Okay. Then I need to make sure that the next time we have a House of Delegates meeting, I'm capturing more information from there and turning it into something. It's going to be a little challenging right now, but it could be your Christmas show, or it could be the promotion of, we highlighted our new members this month by putting up their picture, and we noticed that everybody was liking that. So we need to do more of that. Okay. You obviously want to do what's working best and step away from the things that aren't. You might think it's going to work best because that's what you want to see. But if your audience isn't engaged, then your audience won't be engaged. Who follows you? Okay. So is it only members? Is it members' families? Is it community members? Is it people from all across the country? It's just good information to have. And this audit should happen at least twice a year, if not even quarterly if you're bored. Okay. And then notes. And then this will also help you when you get to your board meeting and they say, what's happening with marketing? You've got everything right here. Any questions before I move on? Jump in because I can only see a handful of you at a time. Nope. Okay, good.
Greek to me. Greek to me.
Greek to you.
What was the 4th platform?
I said Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. I know some chapters have TikToks. there's Snapchat, there's,
Oh, Lord. I'm looking, I can handle Facebook.
right. And let's go back to, you are the marketing person. If you don't Facebook, that's okay. Find someone that does and put them on your team. Sometimes that's a grandchild or a son or daughter, or let's go back to what we were talking about, using your community. It could be a high school, somebody from high school who is in a graphic design class and needs to build a portfolio, or somebody from a university who needs to build a portfolio. So it doesn't all have to happen on your shoulders, but find somebody to do it because it's important.
What is KPI again?
Key performance indicator. In fact, I will put a comment right here. So KPIs equals key performance indicator. Did I spell that right? Okay.
You're going to send these out as an email attachment?
Yeah, I'll link you to it, and then I'll send in the link. I'll send it as an attachment as well. You'll see down here at the bottom next to the word audit, there's a 1, and that pops up the comment.
Good. Maybe a little explanation with it too, because this is totally new to me. Like I said, it's Greek.
I will add some more information in there, sure.
Thank you.
But that's what this right here is. The key performance indicators, your number of followers and your number of shares.
She's going to translate it into Latin.
Hey, consider it Greek.
Yeah, but so yeah, a key, so it's whatever you want to, what kind of metrics you want to view, what's important. Okay, if we say I'm working for a new company that we only have 35 followers on the corporate Facebook page, okay, and they keep saying we need more. Okay, well, it's one thing to say we need more. What is that number? And then we're going to track how we get there. Okay, the indicator will be if we at 35 and we decide we need 100, that's what I want to get to is my 100. If you look at the Harmony Hall annual report that comes out in the Harmonizer, they talk about key performance indicators. Okay, where we are, where we want to get to. So the third tab I have here for you guys is a content calendar, okay? And I've tried to break this out as best I can. A content marketing calendar, and again, this is geared towards social, but the same thing can be email, okay? So don't feel obligated to be on social. But, and I guess I could have put an email one here. So who you're promoting, what tool you're using to promote, when you're going to do it, what time of day, that's important, what content type, what your topic is, what's going to be said in that post or that email, and then a link. Okay, so for Facebook, I recommend an original post. That's just something you guys have come up with, whether you're promoting a member, whether you're promoting a song, whether you're just putting out a picture of something. Okay, that's going to be your original content. Curated content is really important because it's a reminder that you don't have to come up with it on your own. Okay, but we're back in the very beginning. I asked how many of you are following the district page. I could have asked how many of you are following Harmony Hall or the Barbershop Harmony Society, or Sweet Adelines or Harmony Incorporated, right? We don't have to just share within our bubble, right? We can share anything. It doesn't always have to be barbershop either. The key is to just constantly have something out there. I mean, best case scenario, rose-colored glasses is you have something going out every day. It's a full-time job sometimes, but you can schedule things in advance, and we can go one-on-one. If you need help with that, I can connect with you and show you how to do those things. But for example, I run the Johnny Appleseed District page and group. When Harmony Hall puts out on the Barbershop Harmony Society page about the junior contest, I'm sharing their content. It means I got a post out. I sometimes make a comment to it, I sometimes don't. But curated content is stuff from the web. Could be you're sitting at home and you're watching Instant Classic and you're like, you know what? I wonder when the last time everybody watched this was. So you're just going to share out that video and say, hey, here's a reminder of what happened in Pittsburgh a couple of years ago. So original post is what you want. Curated content is other people's posts that you're basically purging and using. Events. Make sure if you're using, especially on Facebook, well, that's all of this is geared towards Facebook. Events for your rehearsal nights or your meeting nights, or when we get back together and you guys are going to do things in person, right? Set up an event for it, because if your followers show that they're interested, it's going to keep popping up in their notifications as a reminder. Okay. How many times have you woken up and you're like, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. I totally missed rehearsal last night. When did Tuesday come into play? Right? Or if the Tuesday is a Monday and you're all screwed up, those Facebook notifications are super helpful. Live video. Don't be afraid to go live. Zach can talk about this easily. He's been doing it on YouTube. He's been doing it on Facebook Live. Just sharing anything. Sometimes it's a sit down with a director. Sometimes it's a rehearsal. Sometimes it's a, hey, let's learn this tag together. All right. And whatever that is. So have some fun with Facebook Live. Just remember to put your camera in landscape mode, please. Thank you. Rule number one about video, always go landscape, not portrait. And then promotion is promotion. So whether you're promoting your chapter or you're promoting something in the community, right? Maybe there's a free ice cream day at, Bob Smith's ice cream parlor. Why not share that information, right? Be a part of your community. Don't just live in, your little brick house. Be a member of the community. The more you share what's happening in the community, the more followers you're going to get and the more chance you're going to have for them to share what you're doing. Okay. And then the same thing, these are just what I think works best for each of the channels. Instagram is obviously all pictures, little words. So this is a great opportunity to really showcase people, to showcase your logo. I mean, just those types of things. So if you look at the Johnny Appleseed District Instagram right now, you'll see it's basically me taking pictures of us all sitting on a Zoom. But I promote it as though, in fact, I think my last post said something to that effect of, wow, I keep sharing screenshots of Zooms, but that just means we're working for you, right? We're together all the time. So it might look like the same thing, but it just reminds everybody that we're out doing something. Stories are only up for 24 hours. So you can share something else. If your chapter is following Johnny Appleseed District and we put up a post, you can share that to your story. It just is another way to be sharing content, but not having to do it. And then the same thing about curated content, which is other people's stuff. And then Twitter, if you have a Twitter account, it's very much like Facebook as well. Okay, and you'll get all of this. Something to keep in mind over here, Instagram does not have links. Okay, so if you want to promote on Instagram that you have a membership night coming up or you're doing a virtual Zoom and you want everybody to attend, to register through Eventbrite, you need to put that in your bio. Okay, you can't link on Instagram. So how I use this, I know I'm kind of babbling on about this. This column would actually be cleared out. I'll set up another page for you. This will be a sample page. And then, so you're going to write in here, let's say this would be, just say Facebook. On 1/6 at 11 a.m., I posted a video. With it, I said, we're enjoying the junior quartets vying for the spot at the BHS Midwinter Convention. Have you voted yet? And the link. Okay. you can take some time and go in and schedule out an entire month. You can have a tab dedicated to January, tab dedicated to February, or you can just keep it going down in one long line. But that's how you would use this. A great way to capture everything. And then you'll also remember or realize that you don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you're sharing a post on January 1st, I can guarantee you by 4 months from now, you can repost the same kind of thing. Maybe change the words up a little bit, do whatever, a different image, but you don't have to constantly think of new content. Your message is the same. We want to spread harmony. We want members. We want retention, and we want acquisition, and we want to sing, right? Those are our 4 key things that we want to do. So your messages revolve around that. You're going to highlight some members. You're going to, introduce new people, those types of things, but that all revolves around all of that. Okay. So that's that tab. And then analytics, right? So this is one of the first things you'll do. You'll go in and you'll say, okay, from as of today, from when we started as of today, we've made 50 posts. We started with X number of followers, which you found out on your audit. And we now have this many followers. So we have a net gain or loss of this. There'll be likes. There'll be comments that were made to us, right? So we want to put those here. How many people, bio link clicks, how many clicked from our Facebook page to our website to learn more, or clicked on a contact us button, how many people viewed our story, how many video views. These are just some suggestions. You can change it as you want, but this will help you to know, hang on a second, what is happening here? This will help you to, what's going on with my computer? To be able to have a discussion, all right? To be able to report, to just show that, what you guys are doing is working or not working. And then you can go in and say, okay, what should we be doing different? I know for some of you, that was all Greek, like you said, brand new to you. And I'm happy to go one-on-one with you for that. But it's a really good, a content calendar is a great tool. And you can modify it and change it and add to it and take away all you want. But having that one go-to file for your benefit, for awareness of what you're doing, pat yourself on the back a little, report on what you're doing, and then next year when somebody else steps in, they've got a history for you. They've got a history to take with and run with it. How many times have we heard, well, we tried that already, it doesn't work. Well, actually, depending on what we decided our metrics are, or, here we can show that we did try and it really didn't work, versus this person didn't think it worked, but yet I can show you that it did, and all those kinds of things. I'll stop now. Jump in. What are your thoughts?
Actually,
Go ahead, Phil.
sorry. Yeah. I was just going to recommend, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Instagram is owned by Facebook now, and they've actually created an app called Business Suite that you can run all of these analytics and things through to pull that data a little bit easier. It was just a suggestion for people that might not be super technologically advanced. And so it just pulls the information for you. You can find it fast and you don't have to try and play around on the website. That's for smartphone users. But you can also schedule your posts ahead of time. I do that with our group. I can post things weeks, months. I can plan out an entire year if I want to, a post, so that way, it's just me going in for the curated content. All my original posts are done, but my curated content's something that I can work on and focus more on throughout the year.
Yeah, no, that's great. If you guys rehearse every Thursday, you should go in and schedule out the next 3 months worth of posts and say, hey guys, don't forget, it's rehearsal night. Just schedule them to automatically hit at 11 or 1 or 3:30 and get that out of the way. You know, it doesn't take that long to do. It takes time, right? But you can copy and paste, have a different, have 4 different graphics that you rotate the first week of each month, second week of each month, third week, fourth week. Get them scheduled out. You can always go in and cancel it. If a rehearsal gets canceled, you go in, you turn that off, and then you make a post that says, hey, we don't have rehearsal this week for this reason. But for the most part, you just saved yourself a whole bunch of time. I just got a question. What on the top platform for us to consider? What are the top 2 social media platforms for us to consider? Zoom is not a social media platform. I would say it's either Facebook and YouTube or Facebook and Instagram. But I do think Facebook. Facebook because it is a great collection portal. The groups and the communities that Facebook is really working towards building, I think is very strong. Like we talked about in the very beginning, if you missed it, a Facebook page is not as good as a Facebook group. Facebook group, members of the group are going to automatically see it in their feed, whereas a page might not necessarily show up because of the algorithms. So start a group, have every one of your members in that group and have them invite people into your group, connect with other groups, those kinds of things. YouTube is, it rides that line. A lot of us call it social media. Some don't, some do. But have a channel and have, you can have your private videos. When you post a video, it can be private, that only those who have the link can get to it, or a post can be public, and you can have a variety of publics and privates on the same channel. So you can decide what you want to share out or what you just want to use for a rehearsal night or something like that. And then you can share those types of things. And then I'm a huge fan of Instagram. Instagram continues to grow, but it's a different type of story. It's a visual story. So decide what you're going to do. How many of you use Canva like religiously for design work or anything? I only see like 2 hands. You guys want me to jump into Canva real quick and show you around it? How many of you have never heard of Canva? Okay. We're going to jump into Canva here in a second. I just have to log into it. So everything you say or do, especially visually, you can make look like you had a professional designer by using Canva. So give me 1 second while I log into my Canva account.
What's the name of this?
canva.com. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Here we go. Okay. So you guys can all see my account. Okay. So I'm going to go to my designs and let me scroll down and then we'll do something original real quick. Okay. So here's an example. This is the Facebook cover that I designed for our page and our group page on Facebook. If you were on there, you saw that. This is an actual Facebook cover template, meaning it's perfectly sized for me already. Okay. You can see I've designed a lot. Harmony Harvest, you guys all saw that. So this is the Facebook cover. This was an Instagram post. Here's, oh my gosh, I must have a million things here. I just redid a website for one of the chapters in Cardinal District. So there's a lot of stuff there. So what's great about this? Now I have Canva Pro. Canva Pro is $100 a year. It's worth $5,000 a year. If you can find a budget, if you can get every one of your members to chip in $5 or whatever it is to help you pay for Canva Pro, do it. You just get so much more. But it's also, Canva is also free, so you don't have to get Pro. But what you'll see me doing is with Canva Pro. Okay, so just be mindful of that. So if I wanted to do something new, I'm going to go up here to templates and I'm going to do a Facebook post. Why is it slowing? Okay, running slow for me. Now I have all of these templates I can play off of, or I can design something from scratch. Usually what I do is I just pull one. I'm like, oh, you know what? I like the coloring here on this one. And I'm going to use this template. But instead of the red background, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. I'm going to come over here to elements and I'm going to put a grid behind it. And then I'm going to go to photos and I'm going to go to barber pole. And there's one. And I like that as the background. And I don't want that. I want musical notes. And there's a white music note that I just want up there. And then I'm going to change this to say rehearsal night. And I'm going to pretend that's a date, 01/06/2021. And I'm going to bold that. Oops. And I'm going to change this font to be something bolder. So I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to download it. And now I have an image. See how easy that was? Now I know I sped through it because I've been using it, but everything you need is right here. And it looks professional for the most part.
What do you lose when you go from your pro version to the free version?
Great question. I believe you lose as many templates. I haven't had the free version in so long, but I believe you lose the number of templates that you get. And a lot of the pictures and graphics you would have to pay like $1 for. So they have a free bucket that's really quite robust. And then they'll have a little symbol that says like pro, or it'll be like a license to use that image. And you get to use it once. You can do that if you're only going to do 1 or 2 things a month through it. It might be worth just putting out $3 versus putting out the $100. I use it for so many things between my job and the courses that I help and the districts that it's worth it to have. I just put it out myself. I never get reimbursed for it.
When you
But
say one-time use, does that mean literally one-time use? I couldn't use that as a heading for, let's say, a weekly or a monthly column and use that same image every week without paying for it?
if you download it, you could use it. I mean, they're not going to come after you, but what I'm saying is you can't design something else with it. And then there are some, thank you for reminding me of that, Bradley. There's some export options that are different. But again, it's been so long. Like you can download something as a JPEG, but I don't think you can download it as a PDF or something. But then even with this account, like if you have the pro account, when you get ready to do your Christmas show and you're doing it in person and you design the program or the flyers you want to put around town, you can now send it directly, order prints, and it'll show up in your mail. Like you can say, I want to print 100 of these and they come right to you. So everything can be done through there. It's an amazing tool. I'm surprised that they still offer the free version of it. It's a company out of Australia, I believe, but I've been working in it for probably the last 4 years, and it changed my profession as a marketing public relations person because now I don't have to outsource graphic design work. My son just started a graphic design class his final semester of his senior year, and the first thing he had to do was design a logo and design a business card and design an infographic, and that was all done in Canva. So it's a great tool. There's a million. Again, feel free at any time. You guys have my email address. Email me and say, hey, can we get together on a one-on-one Zoom? And I'll walk through a lot of this much slower and show you just all the different varieties of things that you can do. But pretty much anything we have popping up on the Johnny Appleseed District pages and group now will have something I've designed in there.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would say it's probably the #1 tool for anybody in this position. And it just adds credibility. You can upload your logos, right? So all of my logos are uploaded, and then you can add that to your graphic. So everything is always branded. And those kind of, I have Photoshop, I have Illustrator, I have InDesign, all of those types of things. And I still use Canva for 90% of what I do because it's just easy peasy.
Can you plug a photograph into one of those designs?
Absolutely. You can upload your pictures. You can upload graphic designs. By the way, here is, somebody just asked for my email address. Feel free to use it at any time. But yeah, you can upload your own pictures. You can do all of that here. Let me go back real quick and share. So here's like my uploads. I have everything from pictures of people to other graphics I've designed to logos. And I clean this out actually a lot. So, this is all stuff that I have used in all of my designs.
Very, very good. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me see here. And you can even, and I think you can do this without the pro, you can set brand colors. So like each one of my companies and the district, I have brand colors. So I find out what the actual red is or what the actual blue is. And I put that in there so that everything complements. And when you put an image in, you'll see that the colors change to complement that image that you put in as well. It's really a very intuitive program. So get in there on the free one, play around, have fun with it. You'll suddenly become a graphic designer and you didn't know you had it in you. Oh, let me put that in. I didn't mean to send that. Okay. Here is my email address. Sorry, I sent it to everybody. Okay. Okay, so we have gone over content ideas. We've gone over retention and recruitment. We've gone over engagement. What else do you need?
Question for you.
I'm sorry?
Got a question.
Okay.
I really don't know a lot about Twitter, Facebook, or any of those things. We've heard up in Lafayette here different times. We've been in the chapter for like 70 plus years. We hear, I never heard of you before. How do we reach those type of people that has never heard of Barbershop, never heard of the Typical Notes or Indianapolis City Sound or Instant Classic or any of those people? How do we reach John Q. Public that does not know Twitter, those things, or Twitter and all those type of things reach John Q. Public and has never heard of us?
Sure. So this is where, are you guys rehearsing? Are you meeting on Zoom?
Yes.
Okay. So this is kind of where it goes back to something we were talking about, and that's inviting the community in and finding partners. So sometimes it means good old-fashioned grassroots guerrilla marketing, and that's knocking on doors, walking into your local Starbucks and putting a flyer up on the wall that says, hey, so-and-so chorus is, we're rehearsing and we want you to come in and take a listen. Or we're going to share something with you. Or because quartets can still sing safely if you're smart and diligent, putting yourself out there, finding a quartet to go out and not say, well, you pay us to come and sing in the corner of your restaurant or sing out front, but we're going to go out there and do some good old-fashioned grassroots shaking hands and kissing babies socially distant. Inviting your local news reporter to meet and participate, whether it's video news or whether it's your newspaper, getting them to come in and see what's going on. Inviting them personally has worked really well for a number of chapters, just to participate. There was a great story out of, was it Michigan or Wisconsin about 2 years ago, that the reporter decided to do a series, and it was a 6-part series. I think it was, or get a blogger to come in. I think it was a 6-part series. And next thing you know, he was on the stage at International because he loved it so much, and joined. So, okay, anybody else while I gather my thoughts?
Email address again?
Hmm?
Your email address again?
Again, it's Michele, my first name dot last name, which you'll see up in my little block,
Got that part.
at gmail.com.
Okay, thank you.
By the way, last year we were contacted by a little local community newspaper just before singing Valentine's season, and it was like perfect timing. And they were a paper that was affiliated with a bunch of other local newspapers, and so the other locals in our Pittsburgh community ended up branding the ad. So we ended up getting a couple of leads and some nice publicity out of that. So the timing was great. So whenever we get more active again, my thought was to contact those papers again. You know, even if it's just maybe it's different, maybe it's our annual show. But they were absolutely fascinated. This one reporter, she was kind of freelance working for the paper writing articles, but she was fascinated by this. And she talked to multiple people on our board and some of the quartets that did the Singing Valentines, and then put the article out. At the end, we ended up having our Singing Valentines team go over and sing to her. She was a single mom, and she loved it as her kids did. So anyway, so that was one. The other thing I threw a note out on last year about this time, we joined a Chamber of Commerce, but of course it was only active for a few months, and then it went virtual. And I don't know, I'm not sure how I saw the point of the virtual. We were trying to figure out how to use, you know, their weekly meetings to, you know, drive recruitment and, you know, events and things like that. So I just don't know if anybody else out there has used the Chamber of Commerce and found out how to utilize it effectively.
Yeah, any one of those organizations. I don't know if you guys have heard Marty say a million times that we want to be the Rotary of the musical industry, right? So whether it's Rotary Club, Kiwanis, or Chamber of Commerce, or any major organization that you have in your community, like we have AT&T, medical, they're going to have a board meeting. Like, connect with their events planners and find out how you can come in and surprise them with a song, right? It doesn't even have to relate to what they do, but especially right now, as everybody will start hopefully getting back into physical meetings, or whether it's on Zoom and you guys record something in advance, but find out how you can be the surprise, because we all know how that reaction when they're like, what is this? What am I watching? Right? So reach out. You have to reach out to the community. You have to pick up the phone. Kevin.
Our chorus, the Circle City Sound, did a collaboration with other music organizations all throughout Indiana. And it seems like it's really starting to take off. So we're looking forward to doing that more so in the future. So that seems to be opening a lot of eyes, not just for barbershop, but it is opening barbershop up to people that just sing contemporary music and stuff like that. And they're looking at us going, you guys are really good. So it's a good way to open some eyes about how barbershop music is
So Gary mentioned singing Valentine's, which everybody is a little, what's going to happen this year? If you read the newsletter that came out yesterday from BHS, there's a whole section dedicated to singing Valentine's. I haven't dived into the whole thing, but it's talking about safe ways to do it or what the options are. Take that, read it, contact your local news and say, hey, you know, we're known around town for this. Here's what we're going to do or what we're not going to do. But we want you to know there's a story either way, because if we're not going to do it, the stories about the safety and the fellowship and the membership, we're not going to do it, but we're still meeting, we're still getting together, we're still doing great Christmas shows virtually, and we're working towards this show. Like, remember, you're spin doctors, right? So take a negative, spin it to the positive. We're here to tell you this, but let me also, you know, but there's more, right? Here's a Ginsu knife. Dating myself. So, so there's right there, BHS or Harmony Hall has handed you an, you know, kind of instructions, and now you take it and decide what to do. But contact everybody and anybody. I mentioned local bloggers. All right, start searching or get somebody who understands it. Again, it doesn't all fall on your shoulders, to find out who does blog about our community. On Instagram, on Instagram, there's a photography blogger who just goes around Nashville, right? And just takes and constantly puts things up. Music City Chorus has reached out to them and they've come and taken some pictures, right? So find out who is telling your community story and then get them to realize that you're an integral part of the community. Okay. And I go back to, I know, Jerry, you were saying, you know, we don't do the social media stuff, we don't do this, but I bet you know somebody who does. So get them, whether it's somebody in your chorus or whether it's a grandchild or whether it's the local high school teacher that's going to know somebody. Find somebody to work with you and in theory for you. But it all doesn't fall on your shoulders. And when we feel like it does, that's when things stop happening, right? Because, oh, I just can't do it, so it's not going to happen. Okay. Be the facilitator and get the others to do it, right? Nobody ever said you can't have a marketing team. We just, for some reason, decided because I take on the marketing role, it's me. Even doing the Johnny Appleseed district, you know, CC has been the tech czar, and they're like, hey, Michelle, we want you to take it over, and you're taking over Cider Express. You'll notice one hasn't come out yet because I can't do it all, right? I'm not retired. I have a full-time job. But I said, well, CC, guess what? You're not giving it up either. We're going to do it together. And when we can't do it, guys, you are our story. In theory, you should be sharing with me what's happening, whether it's a simple rehearsal, whether we had somebody come and sit in, we had, you know, Harmony Foundation, or we had the BHS fundraisers come in. Send us a story, send us a picture, let us know, because we're sharing that out to everybody else. We have our internal community, we have our external community, but you're our story. As a district, we don't have a story if we don't have you.
That's the story of all of our lives that edit newsletters. I've been doing the Delta Kings newsletter for 20 years, and I beg you guys to supply stuff. Occasionally I'll get a plan for a meeting night from the director, but for the most part, a lot of silence out there.
Well, don't think I'm not going to be emailing all of you and saying, by the way, this is your week, right? Give me a story. It doesn't have to be everybody's story every week. I'm also not going to go weekly with the Cider Express. Again, I don't have the time. And I think if we want to share our quality information, you each get a month or every other week or whatever. I'm still working out the plan. But you're going to get a note from me that says, hey, it could be 2 lines. It doesn't have to be a story. It doesn't have to be a paragraph. Pictures are best. Send us a video of what you guys are rehearsing or what you're watching. Oh, crazy idea. Okay. I've been meaning. Sorry, I'm babbling, right?
Another idea.
Huh?
Got another idea here.
I got another idea here. Before, hang on a second, Dave.
All right.
I know some people have been hopping off, and I will email this out. I just put a link to an evaluation form. So if you hop off, click on this now so you have access to it, and then hopefully I'll get you all in the email. But I saw some people hopping off. So here's a crazy idea when we talk about community. Whatever your community safety distance is, you can have 10 people in a room safely, let's say, right? Wherever you rehearse, open it up every night for a week for 10 people from the community to come in and watch The Music Man with you and talk about it, and then talk about barbershop, and then, or, something crazy like that. But it doesn't always have to be about, we're going to sing to you. This is about getting to know the community, all right? Or have a little minor, small potluck, or have a, beer and brat night for 10 people every night this week. Get the community to register online, right? Put it out through Eventbrite, because people are looking at Eventbrite, or I get the email every 3 days from Eventbrite that says what's happening in my community, and offer a free night where we're going to show the animated cartoon Sing, because it's really all about harmony and everyone in harmony and acceptance. And bring your family. And now, mom, dad, we're going to talk to you about singing with us a little bit. Or we're going to have a quartet sing before and after the movie, and we're going to show it, right? Something crazy and unusual, but why not, right? Why not be again, I keep going back to being a member of your community, because that's where you're going to draw from. Okay, sorry, Dave, you were going to say?
Yeah, our chapter does a little annual brochure magazine, and that's a good thing to bring along whenever you're going to be around people, to give them something in writing that they can connect with you. We had a quartet get together and just sing unannounced at a restaurant. That's pretty low key, and we had a few of those with us. We actually got somebody in our group that way.
Every one of your course members should be walking around with a business card or a flyer or something. Do not walk into your dry cleaner without leaving something on the bulletin board or on the counter, or just handing it to somebody, right? Everybody that everybody meets is a connection. You are only as strong as your
Hey,
sphere of
Michelle.
influence. Yes, John.
One of the things that our group did is we actually got face masks, and they say keep the whole world singing.
I want
And
one.
you want one? Okay,
Yes.
I'll get one for you. But we wear those around the community, and people look at them and are, so what's that mean? And then we can tell them we are part of the local barbershop community, and get them interested that way. But yeah, that's what we have. We have masks that actually say keep the whole world singing.
I was sitting at my favorite coffee shop, which is a little local coffee shop, mom and pop. And I noticed the guy at the table next to me was mixing some music. And I asked him what his music was. And I said, yeah, I'm a barber shopper. And he said, my dad's a barber shopper, but he doesn't sing anymore. And I said, what do you mean he doesn't sing anymore? We spent 2 hours talking barbershop. He called his dad. I talked to his dad. I called Dusty. I said, Dusty, here's this guy's name and number. And there's my next person of note, because they went to the next Zoom rehearsal. This was just a month ago. So, I mean, be mindful of what's going on around you. Again, it's going to be front of mind for you because you're thinking marketing as well as barbershop. But even with Zoom rehearsals, we can recruit, right? And I made sure I got the guy's number, and I made sure that I followed up with him the next day and said, hey, did you attend last night? And he said, yes, I attended last night. So, that was great. But yeah, always being mindful of that, wearing the brand, wearing your quartet brand or your chapter brand or your BHS brand. I mean, I have a whole drawer dedicated to Barbershop Harmony. Oh, I like it. There's a Circle City sound mask, right? I bought the 2 masks from the Barbershop Harmony Society. They're definitely made for a man's face because they're pretty wide, Like there's a whole big gape at the bottom for me. But you know, everyone in harmony. Um, and that's the other thing, guys. Even if your chapter, your chorus has decided to stay male only, and I'm all for that, right? I love the male voice. Um, our Zoom rehearsals can be a little different, right? Invite everybody in because you never know. You might get a number of wives who are participating today or who start meeting and decide that they want to sing. And now your chapter has two choruses, right? It doesn't have to grow within your risers. There could be another set of risers. There can be a youth. There can be whatever. So take this opportunity because we're still going to be doing this for another 6 months this way, right? I mean, we all need to look out for ourselves. So that fellowship, like, just blow the roof off the doors, blow them open, invite everybody in that you can, and see what happens from it. You're going to grow, whether you grow on the risers or whether you grow in the audience, you're going to grow, right? Because what we do is pretty awesome. Okay, sorry, I get all emotional. I just love this organization. What else you guys got?
I have just a few thoughts. One, beyond the mask. Let's think that in the next few months we won't need those masks anymore. So hats, with our chapter name on it. I'm in actually two chapters. I'm in up in Pittsburgh, and I'm also one down in Florida. And one of the guys down in Florida ended up getting T-shirts, and on the back, it says something like singing or something. So he's a walking billboard. So he gets T-shirts to do the promo. So anytime he's walking on the beach or going for a walk. So that's one thought. The other thought was, that this whole idea of trying to get younger members. That's a challenge. That's a challenge. And then secondly, social media is a challenge to most of us older folks. I just got on Facebook this year, mostly to get rid of some stuff in my house because people weren't picking up stuff. So I just wanted to give it away free. So I got on Facebook to do that. And it's like, I don't know, I'm not crazy about Facebook, but I do see the benefit in it. And it certainly can be beneficial here to attract a younger generation. So, so what I was thinking is there's kind of a win-win here. We, as a barbershop organization made up of largely, let's say, over 40-year-old people, we're looking for more membership, and we're not social media strong or tech strong. On the other hand, there's some young people running around out there that are techie, social media savvy, and maybe they're looking for a place to sing. So if we could get that alignment, that would be a perfect marriage. So now the question is, what's the best way to reach out to get to those younger people? Probably on Facebook and places like that. So we have to break the bridge somewhere, but I just think it's a perfect thing. They can help us, we can help them,
And define, so this is rhetorical right now, but define your younger, right? So there's going to be younger high school. There's going to be younger early family, right? You might find them at the golf course. You might find the younger in a high school. So define those buckets, decide where they are, and then be where they are. And just like Andy said, they might be savvy in social media. They might be savvy in communication, and they want something to be a part of, but they might not want to sing, and that's okay. They might just want to be a part of something. I think that is our biggest challenge is we always assume everybody wants to sing. My son just joined the theater department. If he ever stepped on stage, he would die, but he wants to be a part of the backstage crew. He wants to try that. So even though he's a part of theater, he's doing it for the other experience. So not every one of our members needs to be a singer, right? They want to be a member of something. They want to be a part of a community, and we are a community. We say we're a community of singers because 99.8% of us are, but there's that part. Honestly, I hardly get on the risers unless I'm in a Joe Barbershop chorus, which hasn't happened in this year. This is how I barbershop. I barbershop by marketing. I barbershop by making connections. I don't barbershop. I'm not a Sweet Adeline. I'm not a member of Harmony Incorporated. I'm a member of the Barbershop Harmony Society, but I did the Everyone in Harmony course, and I've done a couple of Joe Barbershop courses, but I don't sing, not anymore. So think that, like, don't put yourself into that.
Gary brought up the youth aspect, and we're all uh, we can all sympathize, and not sympathize. We can all identify with that. But I remember within about the last 2 or 3 years, one of the visits we got from DHS, the guy was touting the fact that a very large majority of our new members were younger men, under 30, between high school, say college age, or very, very young married men, young adults. Um, is that still true? And if so, what's the secret those courses use to attract men of that age?
So I can't tell you if it's true or not, but I can give you I can't tell you what those numbers are. I'm not at Harmony Hall anymore, but what I can give you is the example of Harmonic Collective. How many of you have heard of Harmonic Collective? Okay. Harmonic Collective is a barbershop chorus made up of high schoolers out of the SLD. Anyway, one of the Northeast districts, real small one, Seneca Land. Okay, I get there. So out of Seneca Land. Sky Harris is the music educator at this high school. So there's that connection, right? Not everybody has this great thing. But what she did was she turned her high school chorus she started a barbershop chorus, a BHS chorus, out of her high schoolers, with the caveat that every one of those students who participated had to have their father participate with them. And it worked.
That's a great idea.
Top 15 last international, I want to say. Because what happens is the seniors graduate and go off to high school, but the fathers stay. Okay. So my recommendation based on that, one, contact Sky Harris. You can catch her on Twitter. You can look her up in the member center. She's a member of the Barbershop Harmony Society. She was our NAFME recipient a couple of years ago, the Director of the Year, or whatever that award is. But Sky Harris, her father is a big barbershopper out of the Carolina district. Why I know all this information, I have no idea. But talk to her about how Harmonic Collective came to be. Okay, I'm giving you I actually went up to Seneca Land and handed them their charter. So that's how I kind of know a little bit more about them. But she can teach you, offer guidance on how to connect with that music educator and how to reach out through that way. We talked about the fact that barbershop is historical in our music, but yet kind of really relevant. If you have some modern songs, put that quartet together to go into the school, meet that music educator, go in there and sing Bohemian Rhapsody if you know it. All right. Start with something and if you don't know it, go in and show the video off of YouTube, right? Show anything by Midtown. Show them the Superman video and then sing a polecat and explain how it's the same exact thing, right? Use the tools you have. YouTube is a great resource. So show them something, because when I introduced my son to barbershop, I showed him lunch break. He laughed and laughed and laughed. And then I'm like, okay, now let me show you some good old fashioned barbershop. And it's the same thing. But if you want to connect to the younger generation, show them the younger stuff, right? Show them Midtown, show them Instant Classic, show them Lunch Break, show them Newfangled 4, right? That's the stuff that's going to capture them. It's going to engage them. And then when they get to see that, at that 20-year-old and me 52-year-old are singing the same type of music. Wait, what? I can take this on in my entire life, right? Those kinds of things. So use the tools that you have there.
We have had the happy advantage in Dayton of having a member of our group who's a baritone. He's actually now the president of our chapter, is on the faculty at a local private school. And he befriended the music director of that school, who is now kind of the artistic director of our of our chorus. But more than that, and even before that happened, we had our annual show at that school and invited their music group to be one of the guests, the guest artists. And it was so exciting to hear this kind of beatbox style a cappella singing, which is very popular. And that sort of connection was very energizing.
Did you ever see from Harmony University 3 or 4 years ago, where Brian Lynch taught 2 nurses how to sing tag in 1 minute, or in like 4 minutes type thing? Videos on YouTube. I'll try to remember to send that to you guys. So here's what you do. You go into a school and you find the principal and 3 teachers, and you say, we're going to teach you how to surprise your kids, and we're going to teach you to sing barbershop, right? So now they're introducing it that way. When my son started at Davidson Academy, they had their own barbershop quartet. They knew nothing about BHS. It was the headmaster, the principal, and 2 teachers. And they always sang the national anthem. They had matching coats, and they had bow ties, and they sang at every Christmas show. They knew nothing about BHS, and Harmony Hall is right here, right? Like, they should know about BHS. And I got 2 of them to become members. So they don't participate. They all, 2 of them have moved on. But once I introduced them and I gave them the sheet music for the real way the Star Spangled Banner should be sung, they're like, it made them so much better, right? We have all those free downloadable resources. Teachers need free. Download it, print it out, put it on a thumb drive, put a little book together for them, go around to the schools and say, I have something for you. Sure, they can find it on the website themselves, but you're giving them a gift of music. Right? So just, it sounds crazy. I'm making all this stuff up as I'm sitting here, right? Just my brain's flying on ideas. So they're out there. Don't be afraid to try it. It might sound crazy, but if you can get other people singing when especially they don't know they can sing, like I said, that video that Brian did from Harmony University with the nurses just shows how easy it is to learn to sing a tag.
One thought I had, and this might be a good thought to kick around a little bit here, which is if we're trying to go after younger people, particularly high school and maybe people in their 20s, the term barbershop may be an instant turnoff. But if you get into a cappella, promote it as a cappella, put that one up front. Let them discover it's barbershop later on. But a cappella might have an appeal because that's more current.
Absolutely.
I've had that discussion in the past with some guys in my chorus, and I agree and disagree on the same front. On the one hand, I'm a big proponent of go where they want to be. If you want to start attracting a younger audience or a younger membership, talk to somebody that age, just ask them about their day, figure out what they did, and go there. Oh, I spent all day watching videos on YouTube. Guess where you're going to go? I also have a hard time saying, and I know you're not saying never use the word, but I have a hard time not leading with barbershop because it's just different enough. I feel like a lot of the current generation is a lot about the whole individuality and the be different and the be, do your own thing. And in a society where a lot of people don't know about barbershop, being able to say, I do barbershop makes them a little bit more special. I almost think that's more of a sell. in some situations. But again, in my head, it's more about go where they are, and if they like it, they'll stay.
And I think that's what Gary was saying was know your audience, figure it out. You know, it's an introduction of, you know, we sing a cappella, barbershop, like, you know, using them interchangeably until you're at that level where you understand ringing a chord versus just singing without music. You know, there's a whole lot of space between there. So whatever is going to get them captured, because again, watching Midtown, you may not realize that's seems a cappella, but it's barbershop. And then you go, wait, how does that happen? Right. And then you have those conversations.
So just to tag a little bit onto what Zach was saying, using a cappella feels like almost just genuine to me. Because in my mind, if you say a cappella, I'm automatically going to think of like contemporary a cappella, like pentatonics or vocal jazz groups, like that kind of thing. And if you say, hey, I sing in an a cappella chorus, people are more likely to assume that sort of a cappella and then get there and find out that it's not what, like, it's kind of misleading in a way.
Well, is barbershop a cappella? The answer is yes.
And see, that's the difference in it is yes, but what does acapella mean to the person who's listening?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Most people are going to assume like a contemporary a cappella kind of thing.
The unfortunate thing is that the term a cappella means vocals without instruments, but that's the musician's term for a cappella. Person on the street thinks a cappella means no instruments but same music. They're expecting all of that, and so I understand. Again, I get both sides of it. On the one hand, it's making the sale. It's no, this is a cappella. Check it out. And on the other hand, I understand but it's not what you think. It's in my head, it's just all about the way you phrase it.
Yeah, perhaps it's just a cappella in the first 15 minutes of the conversation, and if you keep them into 15 minutes, then you can, the hook is sort of set a little bit. Then you can start moving on to what type of a cappella, which is barbershop style.
Sure.
So the
Yeah, the acapella that they have on TV, they have contests. They're seeing it right now. I mean, so if they go to those shows, they'll see that and hear it as far as acapella goes.
Mm-hmm.
So Bradley mentioned pentatonics. BHS is
Right.
offered.
Oh, they're fantastic. Yeah.
Right. BHS has offered them an honorary membership.
Great.
So we did that 4 years ago. Schedules never coordinated, and they, graciously were like, "Thank you." That's when they were, one of their singers was leaving. It was just like a bad time for them. But even the Barbershop Harmony Society honorary membership committee sees value in what they are doing because they are spreading awareness of great singing, right? We're a version of that, but they do complement each other and they go hand in hand. So, like I said, like we were just saying, know your audience. You're going to know what's going to connect with them. You're going to know what you're most comfortable about. We're not saying you have to, but don't be afraid to. Cool beans. All right. Anything else, guys? We made it 3 hours.
Is that our limit?
Unless you want to keep talking. I got a little more.
Are we going to take a break for lunch or something? I know
that's right, because it's only 11 o'clock here. It's 12 o'clock for you guys.
Oh, I see. You're right.
So hopefully you're going to attend the 1 o'clock session. For that, it should be really, really good. Here is one more time, a link to the evaluation form. If you did not drop your name into the chat, please do so because I'll pull that for attendance and make sure I have everybody's email address to send stuff out to you. I'm here if you need me, like I said, one-on-one. I've had chapters reach out to me and say, can you build me a new website? After last year's meeting, I've built a couple out and I'm happy to help with that. I just donate my time because it's fun for me. So don't hesitate. I have Canva Pro if you need some images quickly. shoot me an email and say, hey, can you design a few things up here? Here's our logo. Happy to put that stuff together for you. It makes me happy. Like, again, that's how I barbershop. I barbershop by giving of my time to help you guys be successful at what you do. Okay.
I think we all agree that you gave a lot of very interesting information that we can use. Thank you.
Thank you.
Presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Oh, real quick, I need to grab a screenshot of this. So let me close that chat. Let me close the participants.
The 1 o'clock session go for 2 hours.
I think that's what it's doing.
You're not coming back then?
No, we are done with this for the day. So real quick, everybody smile.